Hey guys, Savage Joy with Real Progressives. Before I forget, after much jokes about this and kind of poking fun at me, I finally gave in and got a Twitter about an hour ago. So if you guys want to hit me up, I look really bad on there right now because I have like 15 followers because I just started it. But if you guys want to follow me, it's at Savage Joy Marie 1. I guess my name was already taken. But anyway, so thanks for joining us tonight. So there's so many things I want to talk about tonight because the past few days have just been epic as far as news goes and as far as disappointment goes. Oh, it's at Joy Marie, or excuse me, it's at Savage Joy Marie 1. Well, you know, Twitter is overrated and it's confusing the fuck out of me because I just joined. But the thing is, they've been jacking with our shows so much here, and my posts have been getting removed left and right. So it's more as a backup. If I get, blocked on here or something like that, it's more precautionary than anything because I have to play around with it more. That's what she said. Because right now it's getting super confusing to me. But I do like being able to tag all of the people I type about. So that is definitely nice. Not that they'll see it, but so this week started out with, Hillary once again saying crazy neoliberal Republican light stuff, and her supporters, having her back 1,000,000%. And, she made a derogatory comment about, immigrants and, how it's the right's fault, essentially, and they should get a handle on it. I have put into my page countless times from 2008 when she was running. She actually said some really jacked up things in the debates with Obama about immigration, how she wanted to build a fence, like a high fence around, which is basically a border wall, but like nicer. So, every time something like this comes up, it's just another reminder of how to certain people she can do no wrong. It's really sad and it's disappointing. And she's not worthy of any supporters, let alone, as many as she has, because vagina. So, yeah, she is, Michael. I completely agree. There's so many, I've written articles about, what she's done in Honduras. I spoke with numerous women at Occupy DNC who were from Haiti, who traveled across the country. They moved to California and they traveled across the country just to protest her ass and talk to people to educate them what she did with Haiti, i.e. take bajillions of dollars for the Haitian earthquake and not give them a penny. This woman has been corrupt since, before many were even born. Reminds me of another who you blocked here. I'm not sure who you mean. I try not to block too many people. If they did, I'm sure they deserved it. But yeah, sorry, I get stuck in the comments sometimes. But so that set off the week. Yesterday we had two horrible news blurbs, but then we also had a really, really good one. So the beginning of the day, I was defeatist as fuck. And I'm like, you know what? What's the point in all this? You know, shit, if people are just going to sell out and all this stuff. But then we got some really good news later that day. So the first thing that popped up on our news feeds was Barbara Lee lost by 10 votes. Now, I know a lot of people wanted her for speaker, which is fine. But she made the statement that she wanted to run for DNC caucus. So I respected that. And I'm like, well, shit, let's get her in there then, because at least she wants progressive ideals. So she lost by 10 votes. Unfortunately, the thing about that is it was, as I understand, it was actually an anonymous vote. Now, that could be wrong, but I've seen it 3 places that people have posted that. So I know Congressman Ro Khanna has been, you know, out all day today saying he voted for Barbara Lee and he's, you know, upset about this and this sucks. And speaking of Congressman Ro Khanna, he will be joining me back for the 3rd time on Tuesday. So we will be able to, you know, discuss all of this stuff. I love having him on. Also, I'm really, really shocked he likes to come back on, considering I'm not, you know, the most professional person to interview congressmen. But, oh, Donnie, oh my God, you made my heart stop. Oh my God, you're killing me. So Donna, who is awesome, just said Beto 2020 and my heart stopped. But she was kidding. Whew. Okay, breathe. So yeah, so anyway, I know certain people are very unapologetic and, you know, admit they voted for Barbara Lee, which is awesome. But you gotta wonder, who are these 11, you know, people who could have made the deciding vote? Because, you know, the way it goes, it's not always like, oh, Dems vote progressive. No, look, they vote for war. They vote against Medicare for all. They do these things. We've seen it for years. So we can't just be presumptuous that the ones who voted against Barbara Lee are not Democrats. It doesn't work that way. So another thing is, you know, now people are saying, okay, well, since she lost, she can do, you know, speaker. Okay, that's great. But now the Dems come out and say, oh, we've all agreed to endorse, meaning they stated it as a party. Now, I don't know if, you know, some people disagreed and they were overruled or how that works, but as a party, yesterday, they endorsed Pelosi. So here, and, you know, and this isn't, I told you so, but I speculated this. I said this shit was going to happen because you have people like Shama Zawant, and no, I'm sorry, Jayapal, Pramila Jayapal. She came out and said she endorsed Pelosi like over 2 weeks ago. It was a few days after the people elected her by like 83%. She came out and, you know, endorsed Pelosi. This is a woman who is the lead of the Medicare for All caucus. And she came out and endorsed Pelosi. She was the first progressive to endorse her. So I'm like, okay, wait. This woman is vehemently against Medicare for All. She has never said anything positive about it. You are on the Medicare for All caucus, and you are coming out and endorsing her. Explain how this is an advantage. And, you know, you call out this shit. You say, look, she did it. Alexandria did it. I've had Alexandria on here and interviewed her. This isn't me hating. This is me being strategic. You come out and you say, I want progressive this, and this. And then, first of all, nobody even had to endorse Pelosi. Nobody had to. I'm not even talking about voting. Nobody had to come out and be like, oh, you need to endorse Pelosi. This came down to a vote. There was no reason for Alexandria or, Pramila or anyone to come out and say, I endorse Pelosi. What was the point? What's the point? There was no point. It only discredits them. But when I call this shit out, oh my God, not pretty. But the fact of the matter is, people keep saying shit like, oh, it was strategy. It was strategic. She had to because there was no one else running. Well, if there's no one else running, why the hell do you have to endorse her ass? That makes no kind of sense. So for people to constantly make, for people to constantly be apologists for this, it's not, we can't keep apologizing for these people doing these things. They need to actually stand by what they're saying. She literally protested Pelosi a week before she endorsed her. I've never endorsed anyone I've protested. I will never endorse Hillary, I can tell you that much. I'll never endorse Debbie Wasserman Schill, that's for sure. I mean, I don't understand how you could protest them and then a week later endorse them. And like I said, there's nothing advantageous about endorsing her at all. There was no reason to. Basically, before we vote, we have the leverage. We can tell them, look, you want our vote? Here's how it's going to be. You want our vote, you're going to publicly say that you are going to stand with we the people, the 99%, and say that you will sign on to Medicare for all, period. You need to stop with this, this basically improve the ACA, things like that. No. That's not good enough. For people like me in and out of the hospital having surgeries all the time with stacks of medical bills, no, it's not good enough. And the millions of other people in my situation. So when you say you care about these people, but then you go ahead and endorse someone who does not care that people like us are, swimming in medical debt and, losing sleep because we know we have another surgery coming and all that shit. And then you just endorse the person who, how, I just don't understand. There was nothing in it for her. She could have used her insane popularity right now and just said, look at all my followers. Look, I'm on the news 24/7. How about this? How about what I do is I convince people to support you, but you have to sign on to Medicare for all, et cetera, et cetera. This is a bargaining tool. This isn't, I'm going to endorse you and then hope and cross my fingers that even though you haven't done shit for us for decades, maybe I'll put trust in you and you'll actually just magically come around. How? I don't understand. I mean, people keep saying there's got to be a strategy. Well, what is it? Because I will bet you every penny I own, which fair enough is not much, but she's not going to hold any kind of deal. You didn't ask her to make a deal. You endorsed her. It's the same thing with the generals. Happened all the time. I interviewed 100 candidates. Bernie Kratz and progressives, all of them, all 100. And people would, especially around the general, they'd be like, well, it's vote blue no matter who, and we can't call them out now. We can get them to work on it when they're elected. When has that ever worked? Here, we're going to vote for you and give you the job and just trust as soon as you get in that now you're going to start caring. Are people really that gullible? I guess so. I don't understand people. And these are people who are, who say they're progressive. Even some of my allies of 2 years are coming out and saying, Joy, this is bullshit. You can't disrespect, people's, their choice to back Pelosi. And they keep saying she's the most progressive. There ain't no one running against her. Of course she's the most progressive. Anyone's more progressive than nobody. I mean, give me a break. It's so bananas. And yes, I wish someone had the balls to stand up to her and primary her ass. I think many of us do, but they didn't. And people still have hopes, you know, that Barbara Lee is going to jump in. And here's the thing. The Dems already picked Pelosi. Is it feasible they're now going to open their arms to someone else? No, it's not. Is it possible someone would try it? If they have the balls, absolutely. But it's not going to be successful. They have already endorsed Pelosi. It's a done deal. It's Hillary 2.0. She's in. So we could have had it so that she's in, and we, you know, we use our leverage to get a more progressive agenda, or we just roll over, endorse her, and then, you know, act like it's some kind of strategy. Those were the choices, and they picked the worst one. I know, I swear it's the, you know, and I know I'm not the only one who deals with this, but I'm telling you, as a woman, every time I criticize Pelosi or anyone, I'm a sexist. And it's just, she's a progressive who gets things done, Donna. I'm a sexist just because I call out, you know, Hillary, Pelosi, Kamala, you know, all these total neolibs. It's, you know, and it's like, how about they just suck? How about that? And that's the thing with 2020. We are going to see so much identity politics. We already saw it in 2018 already. Because when we would talk about Andrew Gillum and how, like, I was so about Andrew Gillum in the primaries. He even agreed to come on this show. I was all about him. I was like, yes, we need this guy. He's amazing. Then I found out he was a delegate for Hillary, and he started taking mad big money, and he started, you know, he started backtracking on Medicare for All and saying enhancing the ACA, all this shit, and then he prances around the stage with DWS and Hillary. I was done. Well, no, you should still vote for him because he's black and he'd be the first. And yeah, you know what? That is awesome. But that's not enough. That's not enough for me. I'm not going to do this identity politics bullshit. You know, we wanted Obama. Oh, getting a first black president was like hitting the freaking lottery. It was the greatest thing in the world. And how did that work out? Talk about a disappointment. So the same people who are like, I'm going to vote for Hillary because vagina. And you know, that's what most of her supporters still to this day are. First woman president, first woman president. That's not enough. You ask Hillary supporters, get me to vote for her, other than A, she's a woman, or B, but Trump. They don't have anything to say. Nothing. It's so bananas. So you see this hypocrisy all the time. It's one of those, you know, things about social media. You love social media because you get to make so many beautiful friends. And then you hate it because you see how many people are so freaking stupid and so ignorant and so gullible. And you see people who you thought were allies, you know, expose their total neolib undershell. And it's just, it can get exhausting. So yeah. And then also, you know, I heard about Joe Biden saying something today. What was that exactly? If you can expound on that. I heard him saying something. I try to tune him out because he's such a douche canoe. Let's see. I mean, he is like, okay, so speaking about Biden, let's see. So in 2020, we're going to have probably, I'm putting my guess on 15. Some people think it's going to be over 20. It may be. I'm putting 15 candidates. That's what I'm going with. It could be more, but my thoughts are going to be, let's see, Biden, Kamala, Booker, Warren, all four of those, count me out. There's going to be so many. Oh my God. It's going to be like the Republicans in 2016. They're just going to fill the stage. And the thing is, a lot of them will not drop. Like, it's not going to be like Martin O'Malley, who just like, drops the first in Iowa, which is the very first caucus. And he just drops because he gets like 1%. So that was kind of sad. I don't know if he's going to run again, but okay, Trucito, here's the thing. I've met Nina 3 times. I love her. She's amazing. My dream team is Burn and Turn 2020. They work amazing together. They are allies. They're friends. That would be my dream team right there. Nina and Burn. That's it. Like, oh my God, we could stir some shit up. Hey, Gregory, did you see what Joe Kennedy said today? Speaking of him, he said something like, we need to, like, the way to go is moral capitalism. Moral capitalism. I kind of thought it was an oxymoron, but yeah, moral capitalism. It's wow. So, but here's the thing. People like Joe. People think he's great, usually the younger women. And plus, okay, so he has a great last name and he's handsome. Okay, well, how about how he takes bajillions of dollars from Big Pharma and, from oil and things like that? I kind of feel like that matters more. That's another thing about Beto. Beto 2020. Dude, he's been in office for 6 years and his voting record is straight up neo-lib and Republican. And he was a Hillary delegate. He danced around Medicare for all. He's not a progressive. He's not. They think he's progressive because he ran against the Zodiac killer. And next to him, everybody looks progressive. But people are saying, Beto 2020, and I don't understand that. What has he done to deserve this? Then people say Bernie and Beto 2020. Okay, well, Bernie didn't even endorse his ass, so I kind of doubt that's going to happen. I mean, it's just so crazy to me. I don't understand people's thought processes. I can't wrap my head around it. So, there started to be this trend in 2018 primaries that I would see in the comments of my show and, on our page and things like that. And a woman who used to be my scheduler for my show, and I had a falling out because of this exact thing. She had the idea that progressive was a scale. It was, well, I'd say, are they progressive? Well, they're more progressive than the guy they're challenging. Okay, what does that mean? I'm asking, are they progressive? Like, so you take less corporate money and you kind of believe in Medicare for all, but you wouldn't sign on? Like, is that what it is? Because, like, I'm not going to interview anyone that is not a true progressive, a real progressive. That's the whole point, is to give those people a platform. I had, doing those 100 interviews, I had a really strict litmus test. You had to have voted for Bernie or Jill in the primary. I didn't ask about general because everyone was so jacked up from that shit that I was like, whatever. I wrote Bernie in and I'm so proud of that. I will never regret it. But I don't, people were so devastated and shit, so I don't hold that against them. But primary to me matters because you had a choice between someone who has been fighting for 40 years and someone who has been hoarding money for years. So I ask, the candidates straight up, did you vote for Bernard in the primaries 2016? Yes. Cool. Do you take no corporate money? Yes. Do you support Medicare for all? Yes. Green New Deal? Yes. Women's rights? Yes. And you go down the line. And these are things I ask every single candidate. And that way I can say literally all 100 candidates have these traits. They all ran on that progressive platform, every single one of them. And I don't, I've watched other, shows of candidate interviews and stuff. I don't know that anybody else really has. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I don't know that if other people have that kind of litmus test where they, like I research hardcore and then I get called out for doing it. But like, okay, Stacey Abrams, she took 73, I believe it was, $63,000 from Soros. It's online, public records. I posted screenshots. Oh my God. I lost so many friends that day. And I was like, dude, truth hurts. Like, I'm just pointing it out, and kill the messenger. How dare you say that? Okay, well, it's true. I didn't even put a comment. All I did was put a screenshot and it was just ugly. So, and the thing is, people say, well, that's okay because it's not a PAC. Well, yeah, Soros kind of helped Hillary rig, so I'm not really down with that regardless. But I digress. So anyway, don't be afraid to call these people out. Don't be afraid to speak truth to power. If you see shit, post it and let them weed themselves out. Also on the topic of independent media, I'm sure you guys saw I believe it was The Guardian wrote a post about Assange that was total bullshit. And now Assange bet them $1 million to prove it, which is pretty badass. They stated that I believe it was Mueller met with Julian 3 times. And Julian's like, that never happened. So when Julian said that, they went back and tried to revise the article. However, by this time, that original article had been shared gajillions of times. And that the neolibs and shills, they take that shit as gospel. Doesn't matter if the story's been backtracked, not at all. They already have it saved to their favorites and they're going to use it for the next several years. It's that simple. Julian's, Satan. So the fact of the matter is they tried to backtrack and Julian said, no, it's already out there. I'm going to bet you $1 million that you lied. You straight up lied. Provide proof. I mean, people hate on Julian, and the fact of the matter is there is nobody who can say that they have 100% credibility. They've won countless awards for over a decade. Who else can say that? Nobody. I mean, and the thing is, talk about kill the messenger, man. Like, all he did was expose something that already happened. So you have people, freaking out like, oh my God, he's Russian and he's so evil. Well, actually, he didn't write the email, so I don't care if it was Satan who brought them public. The fact of the matter is, the public needed to know. We deserved a right to know all the disgusting, abhorrent shit that the Dems were into. We deserved to know. I mean, so you have Hillary, who has literally never denied a single thing in those WikiLeaks. Never once. You have Podesta, never denied a single thing in those WikiLeaks. You have Debbie Wasserman Schell, never denied a single thing in those WikiLeaks. The only person who's ever denied anything in those WikiLeaks was Donna Brazile with those stupid ass questions in the debate. And then after she said, I know what it's like to be persecuted because I followed my Savior, Jesus Christ, and I'm being persecuted when I didn't do this, and then later came out and admitted she did. So that's the only time someone actually denied anything in WikiLeaks, and then she admitted she was full of shit. So that being said, then you also have 5 heads of the DNC, including Debbie Wasserman Schell, who were either fired or forced to resign because of what was in WikiLeaks. So, and then you got Donna Brazile, who was forced to step down from CNN because it revealed what she did with the questions. So you've got these people losing their jobs, and you're saying that these are not credible. Why didn't they sue them? Why didn't they fight them and say, I can't believe you're firing me when this isn't even legit? This is made up. I never said that. Don't you think they would? I would. If someone, made something public and said I said it and I didn't, I'd blow that shit up. I'd put it everywhere. Look what I'm being accused of. But they didn't, because they know it's legit. Then after the same, I remember I was at Occupy DNC at the down in Philly at the convention with thousands of my brothers and sisters marching, and all of a sudden my phone is blowing up. Joy, oh my God, Joy, oh my God. Debbie Wasserman Schell just resigned. And we're like standing there, and I'm like, roll call. I'm like, it's just screaming it, and everyone's like screaming it and cheering and everything. And then like an hour later, I get another text that's like, oh, guess what? Hillary just hired her to be her 50-state strategist. She was like unemployed for like an hour. That's someone who's really into democracy. Yeah, you cheated and you got caught and you had to quit, but hey, come work for me. It's all good. And that's, someone brought up the Hillary's emails, and I see that getting brought up, but my thing with that is that she did resign. They told her she was either going to get fired or be forced to resign. So yes, she did resign. And now she just did that to our boy Tim again. But I digress. The thing about, Hillary's email and Melania's email, the differences is Hillary, well, first of all the Hill bots who were like, it shouldn't matter, are now like, Melania, it's always hypocrisy, always, they're like, you can't look at people's emails, but then the second something with Trump leaks, they're like, oh my God, did you see that email? So the difference is, though, with Hillary is that it wasn't just her emails. It was the fact that she deleted over 30,000 of them, or Ivanka, excuse me. It was that she deleted over 30,000 of them. She had a private server illegally in her basement. She had 8 Blackberries that she literally beat with hammers and poured coffee on to destroy. She mailed a laptop in the mailbox, according to her. Never was found. Things like this. So it was definitely, it was so different, because this wasn't, and then, yeah, she wasn't Secretary of State. That's correct. Deleting 30,000 emails, some of which actually state, private or things like that. And then to say, oh, I didn't know C meant classified. I thought they were in alphabetical order. Best excuse ever. Oh my God. Did you wipe your hard drive clean? What do you mean? Like with a cloth? Also best response ever. Anyone who buys that shit, and then Comey said straight up in court about 3 things that she lied. But then he said, well, no one will take on the case. That was his answer. So because no one will take on the case, we'll just let her go. And then the Hillary supporters were like, she wasn't convicted, so she didn't do it. Well, does that mean, like, let's talk about Casey Anthony and O.J. Simpson? And I mean, if you don't know the law, it doesn't work, all the time. Let's not jump to that. So yeah, Dre, I absolutely agree. So there's a lot of, comparisons being thrown around with stuff, and I just don't see it. And Loretta Lynch was their lawyer back in Arkansas. That's correct. And then also they met on a plane for half an hour to talk about Brexit and grandkids. So there's so much fuckery that's going on. And, I think one of my biggest disappointments is that we kept hearing about this blue wave. Oh my God, the past 2 years, it's been, oh my God, we are going to change everything. There's so much hope. And I'm a very proud independent. So I don't vote Dem. I vote person, not party. And I appreciate those who do the same. But people kept saying blue wave, and I kept saying, fuck your blue wave. I want a progressive tsunami. I want progressive. Dem means nothing to me. Dem, it can very well be Republican. That D next to your name means nothing. It's just a party you chose to run by. So, there was this blue wave forever, and vote blue no matter who basically means, hey, guess what? You can still take corporate money. You can still rig elections. You can still not sign on to Medicare for all. You can still not have a Green New Deal because guess what? You get our votes regardless. DNC loves blue no matter who people. They love them. They don't have to do anything to get their votes. They can still be corrupt. They can still be neolibs. It doesn't matter. They get their votes. So it's very disheartening. The past few days, I'm like, why are we doing all this shit? Like, why do we keep fighting? What's the point? I'm getting so discouraged with seeing all these people just saying, they're not going to, oh, I'll never do that. I'll never vote for a corporate candidate. Oh, hold my beer. I don't like that shit. That's bullshit. Like, I guess, I don't know if it's weakness or it's fear. I'm not sure what it is, but when I see people just totally bail on everything that, bail on everything they've protested against and bail on the promises they've made, I'm just like, where's your pride in that? Where, I worked in Bernie's campaign office with some people who I actually marched at Occupy DNC with. Hell no, DNC, we won't vote for Hillary. All this stuff. I chanted this with these people, and they went and voted for her. And the worst part about it, she didn't even win. So they hate themselves now. They sacrificed their self-respect for absolutely nothing. And that, that kind of leads me into the media, which I was going to touch on. So yeah, Donna, you know what? That's true. The Dems do have the Roe v. Wade vote, but the thing is, Hillary's VP, Kane, he actually voted against it, which is hilarious. So he has a record of actually being pro-life per his votes. So when she picked him, we were all kind of like, okay, truth is coming out. Yeah, Jimmy, honestly, it was heartbreaking, but I think there's not enough people who hold the media, the MSM, accountable for, for Trump winning. And not just because, of the free airtime. It's because, like, pretty much every MSM station, day after day, was like, Hillary's going to win. It's not possible for Trump to win. It's not possible. You know, Hillary's going to win. You know, the last few days before the election, the lowest percentage I saw of her winning was 96%. Well, first of all, I guarantee you that's why a lot of people didn't come out and vote. And also, that's why a lot of people didn't care to vote for her, because they're like, well, she's going to win anyway, so why the hell would I sacrifice my self-respect to vote for that? It's totally crazy. And then, you know, now so many people still want to defend her. She's talking about running a third time, and some people are actually celebrating that, which is basically anytime someone talks about running again, I'm like, oh, congrats Republicans on keeping your position in 2020. That's all I can think of. If you're not going to run a progressive, you're not going to win. I mean, they have not learned anything, like absolutely anything. So many of the candidates I've interviewed, before I started doing my show, I thought, wow, the DNC is so corrupt. And, you know, I read all 144 pages of the lawsuit. I read it 3 times, highlighted it, took notes, and I was so like, oh, the DNC. But now I realize after interviewing all these candidates that it's so beyond that. There are people who are running as local as city council who were getting screwed, who were getting votes taken, who were getting, you know, just totally sabotaged, who were having, people jump in the race to try and beat them, even though they were from different counties. They would move them and say, hey, jump in the race so we can knock them out. We don't want them to win. Things like that. It's absolutely incredible. It's countrywide. It's not just DNC. They're so scared of what we stand for. They are absolutely terrified. Now, as far as people in government, it makes sense why they're terrified, because it'll cost them money. If Bernie would have won, he would have taxed their asses. He would have gotten Medicare for all, which would take down their big pharma donations, you know, things like that. It would cost them money. They'd be screwed. And they only have a couple billion to live off of. So I feel genuinely horrible for them. But that's why they didn't want him to win. So every time they see a threat, they do anything. At the end of the day, they know damn right well that progressives are the ones who bring the fury. They bring that excitement, whether it's green or independent or whoever. It doesn't matter. They bring the excitement. They bring the passion. They bring all that energy. You don't see that with other people. You don't. I mean, yeah, you might have a rally here or there where like people chant or something, but I've never seen it except for Bernard and Nina. Those are the only I've been to a hell of a lot of events, especially even covering for RP. And I've never seen like straight up, you know, standing ovations and screaming and cheering and like those two. I haven't seen it. And I've been to a lot. So that's what they need. If they actually cared about winning again, that's what they need. But the one person that can guarantee that, they don't want. So I'm interested. I'm curious to see what happens for 2020. But I have a lot of trepidation about it because I know they're going to, oh man, I'm going to be so frustrated and so pissed because, and it's not even that I get as pissed at the Dems because like they're predictable to me, but I get pissed that people I care about are like, oh yeah, Cory Booker. All right. Woohoo. Let's get Cory 2020. And, you know, you ask them, what have they done? I posted an article today. You know, he's you know, getting all sanctimonious on, you know, his page with this vitriol about you know, kids being tear gassed and all of these things. And now it turns out that he has actually gotten donor money from the people who make the tear gas. This is Cory Booker. Oh, they've donated to Hillary Clinton as well. I should mention that. Those are the two candidates they've donated to. So for him to, you know, wax this outrage, how about that? How about you educate, either he knows they're the people who, you know, he takes money from, or he's just takes money from anyone and doesn't educate himself. Either one of those is fucked up. Either one. So this is, you know, it's like each candidate I had on, I literally put at least 2 hours of research into. I would go to their Facebook, their Twitter, their email, I would Google them. I would send questions to the people we had mutual friends of. I mean, just you name it. I would do at least 2 hours with every single candidate because, and there were 2 of them that I found out shit when I was looking into them that I said, nope, you were not honest with me. I'm going to cancel. I don't do this. I researched you. What you said was a bold lie, and I am disinviting you. You are no longer welcome to come on. I did that with 2 people. So people can dupe others. It's really not that hard. Unfortunately for them, there's this thing called the internet where we can actually, you know, get receipts for what they're saying. But yeah, I think that we have a responsibility as media to, if we're going to say we're progressive, we got to back that shit up. We have to post things that, you know, bring us fire. We have to, you know, interview people who stand for what we believe in and what we promote. My worst fear was like, oh my God, what if I accidentally interview a neolib and it just, nobody likes me anymore? And like, what if someone dupes me? And, you know, I was always so, you know, conscious of that because I was just like, damn, like you interview the wrong person and your credibility is freaking shot. And I understand that, you know what I mean? I may be the very same way. So that was always a fear of mine. But anyway, so I'm going to be able to start interviewing a lot more activists again, and a lot more humanitarians and people who have nonprofits, things like that. I really, really, really miss that. Donna, I did have Levy on. He's actually traveling right now, but he'll be coming back on at a later date. I've talked to him. Yeah, I'm hoping Tim may be coming back on for a 3rd time. We're trying to work out a schedule. I am absolutely heartbroken to watch him go through the pain he's dealing with because of, you know, the cheating again. And this time just, you know, people haven't learned. And of course he's getting no, I'm proud to be independent media because we're the only ones covering Tim's, you know, the fuckery that's going on with Tim. Also, there are myself and another RP person, Anj. We made a video for Tim to kind of cheer him up and to say, look, we are still behind you 100%. And we asked for videos from, you know, I'd say probably maybe 15 people. You know, they all submitted videos to us, and we made like a 10-minute video of all of us just saying like how much we appreciate Tim and what he's done for us. It's on our RP's page. It's also on my page. It was just finished yesterday, so it's up towards the top. But it was pretty amazing, and he was extremely touched. So I think it's important that we also do that. I think it's, you know, I see a lot of candidates who lose feeling absolutely defeated. Rightfully so. I mean, we all would. But you know, these are people who, I mean, take Tim. He did a 2-year hiatus from his job as a law professor at a college, took 2 years off, drained his savings, literally just the entire thing, and wound up being cheated again. Like, you know, and it's happening, and people aren't covering it except for independent media. And that's why I get so proud to do this. It's rewarding because I get to speak up, you know, about shit that other places aren't going to touch on. So it's also important that for those of you who watch, we can't do this without you guys watching. We can't. You know, one of the selling points when I ask people on my show is like, hey, we have 121,000 followers, or my shows typically get, you know, X amount of views. Like, that's how I get guests, because I you know, I state the passion of those who engage with us. So it means a lot. It's, you know, interacting with us is just, so it's refreshing. It's amazing. Donna makes a very good point. Paper ballots signed, hand counted. This is something I've preached since 2015. And I'm like, with all these people, you know, outraged with, you know, the Republicans, you know, cheating Abrams and Gillum and, excuse me, what have you. I work full time, so that's why I yawn. With all them outraged with that and saying the Republicans cheating, blah, 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 why aren't more people signing up to do paper ballots and shit? Like, we've been trying to get others to sign on to this shit forever. If there would have been open primaries, Bernie would have won. If there would have been paper ballots, legitimately hand counted, Bernie would have won. Like, these things are just so necessary, but people are like, they don't think about that. They'd rather complain than take steps to actually fix it. Now, progressives, they get it. We've been talking about this shit for years. Paper ballots, hand counted. Sometimes I don't have a lot of hope. I'll be the first to admit it. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you've seen my posts the past few days. Like, what's the point? But yeah, I mean, we have to keep going. We have no other choice. You know, I would love like 24 hours to just be carefree. Like, I feel like I would love that, and it would be so refreshing, and it would be so amazing. But at the same time, like, we have work to do. Yeah, Drea, you're right. And Washington State, I learned this from some of the candidates I had on. Washington State is 100% mail-in. They have no polling stations. They have no polling machines. It is literally mail-in only. And you get a number. So you have that kind of receipt type thing. So you can actually check to see if it's been counted by this SKU number. So we can, I mean, it's so bananas how there's 50 states, but they're all different. Like, you know, some are semi-open, semi-closed, some are open, some are closed entirely. Some, you know, we have Maine, who's now a ranked choice voting. There's so many differences. We have California, who's the jungle primary, who the top two get it, even if they're both Dems or both Republicans or what have you. So there's so many differences, and I've just been making mental notes with all the candidates I've interviewed, like, oh my God, these are all so different. I was just kind of presumptuous that everything, you know, was. Ooh, sorry about that. I think one of the biggest problems, one of the most frustrating things is, like New York, you have to register 10 months in advance. Who knows who they're voting for 10 months in advance? a lot of people don't even know who's running at that point. Obviously, there's more name recognition this time, but, you know, working for Bernie's campaign, I can't tell you how many people in New York said, I would have registered Dem if I would have known who Bernie was 10 months ago. But now it's too late. I'm independent. I can't vote for him. That's not democracy. That's so effed up. It's not democracy. So I don't even like calling them Democrats because they're not. They're the epitome of non-democratic, essentially. But, you know, just like my rants are always all over the place, tonight was no exception. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let's see, Sunday, I'm in Harrisburg area, Pennsylvania. Sunday, I will be going to a protest against white nationalists. Someone I've organized protests with before has texted me screenshots. They will be showing up to counter protest. So pray for us. It's going to be interesting. But I will be filming everything, you know, for RP. So you can watch that, that online on Real Progressives on this site. It starts at 1. I do have some immigrant friends, who are Muslim who I'm going to be interviewing as well. So if I get enough balls, I can't promise you, but if I get enough balls, I really am tempted to try and talk to one of those Nazis. Like, I'm really, really tempted. I really want to ask them stuff. Like, as the journalist in me, I really, like, I feel like I want to talk to one of them and just see what's in their head. Not that I'll think it's valid. I'm just so, like, curious to psychologically understand where all that hatred comes from. But anyway, so I'll be interviewing some beautiful people I know, and it goes from 1 Eastern to 4 Eastern. So check it out on Sunday. I'll send out a reminder again. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. And please share. Please like our YouTube. And please encourage your friends to follow. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Much love.